held that title for about 2 years. Smash Ultimate came out in December of 2018. And we decided to host the Smash Ultimate Championship tournament, comprising of players that were at that last tournament.
It's like chilling, playing Smash. Back, cloud first? Oh, they gave me Greninja last time, right? Yay!
Going into it, I felt I had a certain level of confidence for sure, just because I was the defending champion. I'd won the tournament before, and I also had self-doubt just because this is a new game and everyone kind of had to like start adapting to the way the game felt. It was different from the previous installment, and so it was a bit nerve-wracking for sure, because this tournament was only a week and a day after the release of the game. So I definitely already had mental issues where I was starting to feel burned out from competing. I just didn't, I guess a part of me felt like I didn't have much left to prove. I thought I should just enter this tournament as like my last one, if I were to retire, like this would be it. Like I should at least enter and push myself to like win this one, but the feeling of just not wanting to compete was such a big struggle. Like it was there. I held the tournament as I'm the organizer, but I still like I didn't even want to compete in my own tournament like that. I was at this point I was just hosting it because the majority of people wanted it to happen. It was just for sure debating if I truly wanted to compete, and that was a big struggle going into the event.
Yeah, loser bans 2 stages that they don't want their opponent going to. Winner bans 2 stages. Yeah, whatever you want. And in best 3 out of 5s, there's no stage bans.
Okay.
In the beginning, you guys can gentlemen agreement to a stage. If you can't agree on the stage, then you do the melee way, where you see the 5 starter stages. You RPS, you rock paper scissors. Winner of RPS gets the first strike. Loser strikes 2, and then winner strikes the last stage. And the last stage standing is where you guys go to.
Okay.
So I had like an easier side of the bracket. I believe I fought Darren first. Darren didn't really play that much. Like he was interested in competing, but he just he didn't have the game, so he didn't get to practice.
Good game.
Good game,
I mean, he just did.
Have you ever heard of Case Story?
That was 3 up?
What? Have you ever heard of Case Story?
It's not 3 up to finals.
I'm getting to the good players, and so now it's a different ball game. It's not just like playing around and just kind of showing off. Now it's like showing off your skill, where you have to prove that like, okay, you're not just better than your average Joe. Like you're actually competing against this guy who's like really good, like possibly even tournament good. And so going into it, I thought if I just played my game, I definitely would be in a good spot. And so I thought for sure that this set felt like it would dictate kind of the winner of the tournament. I don't think neither me or Patrick kind of want to go through losers bracket, because when you lose a set of winners, you drop into losers, and then if you make the run to grand finals, you have to kind of beat the person sitting on winner's side 2 sets in a row, where the person who winners has to win just 1 set. Even if they lose that first set, the person who won still has to win just that second set. So I don't think neither me or Patrick really wanted to fight the other person 2 sets in a row after this potentially long set that was about to go on. So to me, it was kind of the winner of this set would kind of just win the whole tournament. Not guaranteed, but like, it would heavily favor the person that won. But I tried not to put too much stress on it, because when you start thinking like that, you get in your own head and you put way more pressure than what's necessary. So I definitely tried to take it just 1 set at a time, and even that was a bit too much. And then we go into game 4. And then, so we're playing the game. I'm like, for the first time in the set, like commanding the lead. Like I have stock lead. I think we're up like, I'm up 2-1 stocks. He's at like 100+%. At that point, it's so easy to like knock the character off the stage and win the game. Like at this point, I'm at set point, right? Like just gotta get 1 good hit in, and I win the set. And it was at that point where it started to just hitting me. Like I got really anxious, which my nerves started to kick in, which they hadn't done in a really long time. He kind of kills me, and then we're at 1 stock apiece, and I'm just running into him. Like there's a moment where like, I literally just run and jump into him like 3 or 4 times, and he gets like so much damage on me. And I'm trying to keep it together, because he's at like 160, he's like super high, like he's about to die at this point. And then there's a moment where he grabs me, pummels me into the ground, and I'm trying to mash out. And then like I jump over, and I think he calls out the jump, and I lost the game. And I completely fell apart after that, because I remember thinking I just threw a 2-1 lead. We went to game 5, and I think I remember just in the beginning of the game when it started, like just kind of accepting that I just threw not only just the game in the set, but the entire tournament. Like I gave up completely. The game is ongoing. Game 5 is ongoing. I'm already telling myself like second to third isn't that bad, and I had just completely fell apart just because I was so anxious for the win, and I lost it. And you know, I didn't have that same competitive drive. Like, all right, I'll just drop to losers, but I'll make my way through. Like, I was like near the end of my competitive career, and I kind of just accepted that the tournament was over. Like, why even bother playing? Like, why even bother trying and like trying to win? Like, the character's done. Patrick's a really good player. Like, just accept this is it, right? I remember thinking where there was a world where I went home and I like talked to my family, where they know I'm like really good at the game, and them asking me kind of like, how did it go? And me saying, oh, like I lost, I got second. And them just kind of giving me this face of like, oh, like kind of just not what you're expecting. Oh, it's like it was such a bad feeling that I kind of started to like mentally get back into it. And like it's kind of like that feeling of burnout kind of started to disappear, just because like I started getting into this flow. And like before I knew it, he was down to last stock, where he had an opening where he was at really high percent, and I got the kill, and like his character died, and I like popped off out of my chair, because it was like one of the closest sets I've ever played. I popped off out of my chair and like pure relief, and was like, okay, like now this choke won't forever live in my head rent free, because it didn't cost me the tournament set. And I remember just thinking like, wow, like I was able to like fall apart and bring myself together within like minutes. And you know, even though the process felt so long, mentally it took me like a few minutes to bounce back, and I'm like really proud of myself because in that set it didn't just feel like I was fighting Patrick, it was kind of like I was fighting myself. And that you know, ask anybody who competes in anything, you know, esports, sports, when you kind of just fall apart, it's really hard to pull yourself together, and I'm really proud that I was able to do that. And you know what, like this negative like train of thought, like it leads somewhere, it creates self-doubt. And I remember one of my friends kind of said, yo, can we hurry this tournament up? I have to go home. And I remember, I don't know why, and it was probably because I was already pulling myself back together, but I remember saying, like, yelling back, like, I got you, I'm gonna 3-0 him right now.
You got it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And I felt this, like, not even just relief that it was over, but this excitement of, like, I went through this big journey of, like, going into it with, like, self-doubt, anxiety, and burnout, and kind of pulling myself together and kind of being, like, excited for the win, not because it was over, but because I had earned it, and because I fought and I showed, like, hey, like, you're this great player, like, you can still do this, you can still compete. And so I remember walking up to Patrick, because even though he played this lame character that everyone hated, like, he nonetheless played it, and he played it really well. I think that's one of the best he's ever played against me. And I remember just kind of giving him like a hug, and I was like, dude, you like good stuff, like, you took me to the limit. And I look back fondly on this tournament. It's one of my favorite tournaments, because I was able to hold it together, and because someone challenged me to the point where I had to go through all that. And it was nothing short of like a really fun experience. Even though I fell apart, I also pulled myself together, and to have the crowd on my side, which amazing feeling. Like, I look back fondly on that tournament. I'm like really glad it happened, and I'm glad I was able to like overcome my issues, because it was everything. It felt really good to like hold that win and just cement myself as like the greatest of crew.